Give you a little background if you haven't met me before. Hey there, I'm Cinnamon, U.S. immigrant, moved to Europe about 6 years ago. So when I left America 6 years ago, I came with all my U.S. clients. 100% of my income came from U.S. clients. And I knew I probably should diversify, but I think when I first moved to Europe, I didn't know how to get global clients actually. Plus the world shut down and I'm worried about immigration. So I just really didn't do it. And so in November, America, some of them, majority of them voted a convicted felon to lead the country. So when that happened, I was like, okay, seriously, I really got to worry about how to get clients in other countries and how to get currency and income and not be solely dependent on the US dollar, because I live in Europe and euros are traditionally higher than USD, the same way that pounds are traditionally higher than euros, right? So I knew what I had to do. I just had to, apparently I needed a push, and that was the push that did it. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to be very transparent about some of the seeds that you have to plant in order to get the harvest that you want, right? Like so often on social media, you may see people who have, made money doing this or doing these various things online and it worked out, but you don't see this, you don't get to see the small steps they had to do initially to kind of make that happen. So I'm going to share some of that with you today. And it's not saying you got to do the same thing I did, obviously, right? But I'm going to show you what I did so that hopefully whatever your skill is, whatever your talent, whatever your education is, you can see how you could potentially apply it in your world, I hope. If you're still with me, I'll do Q&A at the end of this so we can talk about your situation personally. And then, of course, if you guys want to see or chat again, late on this Sunday, I'll be live again. Now that's a 4-hour training. It's absolutely free. Just show up with your pen and paper and we gonna rock it out. That's this Sunday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's get into it. So the first thing I did, so you all have been watching me. If you've been watching me for a minute, I've been talking about upskilling, right? And so one of the things I did over the course of the first 2 years, I made sure to learn everything I possibly could about AI. So I learned about, I knew how to do automation. I added the AI to that. But what I also did is, this is one of the projects, right? So she's not done, but this is a AI language YouTube channel that I created. I guess some months ago, right? The goal is to create 5 episodes of this, and then I will release it to the public. And so the point of this, there are 2 additional YouTube channels that are going to be like faceless YouTube channels, meaning my face won't be on it, that I want to kind of operate in the back end of my life. Like I want to automate it so I don't have to do too much with it, right? Now, this is for English speakers learning Portuguese. Ta-da! Obviously, because that is and was me, right? And so I did this project for a couple reasons. I knew if I had to create the scripts and do all that, it would help me with the language. I wanted to approach it in a way that I think would have helped me to learn Portuguese if someone would have taught it to me like this. So I'm doing that. Now, I'll talk to you about the income off of the faceless channels and how that works. But this was the project. Now, I wanted to do this project also. I did this months ago before I knew more of what I know now in regards to AI animation. I did this for 2 reasons. The first reason is I knew I wanted to get good at AI video generation. So if I did this project, it would force me to do that. This was a new skill that I wanted to learn how to do. Now, I did this video a long time ago, so I'm better than this now, so don't judge it. But that was the purpose of this, right? So that was one purpose. The second was to create income off of this channel. And like I said, I will, once it has 5 episodes accumulate, I will release it and then release the rest of the work. But I want to automate the process first. And so what that means is if it's automated, it won't take me a long time to create, because having a YouTube channel is a lot of work and it takes up a lot of time. So I'm using AI tools to automate it. And I'm also using AI tools to automate it and to get the income. Lost my train of thought. Sorry, y'all. You know it's live. So this is that. So this is one YouTube channel. Now there's a second one that I am working on, which is a lo-fi channel. If you don't know what a lo-fi channel is, it's basically channels on YouTube that play music. Some of them do it 24/7. Some of them do it for, 4 or 5 hours. A lot of people in different countries will kind of use it just as background noise, right? Almost like you have like the radio on. Now, this is Lo-Fi Girl, and this channel is the OG of lo-fi channels, right? Hey there, Erica. So this is out of a company, a producer actually out of France. And so what I did, this YouTube channel right here is in euros. Why can't I say euros today? It's in euros, right? So I created my YouTube account under Europe rather than doing it under USD. So when it does get monetized, it's not yet, because I haven't released it, it would be in euros. So to me, diversifying currency right now, my life is really important because the world is on fire, right? So we just you just got to know what to do and how to work it, right? So I'm creating a lo-fi channel. It is registered in euros, and that is what that's going to be. So lo-fi channels don't have much going on. Lo-Fi Girl just does the most because they've been doing it for a minute. But I want you to pay attention to the subscribers and the amount of videos, right? And let me just show you really quickly. Right here. Okay. So this, of course, is Lo-Fi Girl. And this is some of the videos that they're very basic. She's been doing this for, she or he, I think it's a he, has been doing it for a series of years. Again, they're out of France. But here are some other examples of lo-fi channels. So again, they play music all day. If you can see, this one was 11 hours long. I didn't even put my phone on vibrate. That's so ghetto. I'm sorry, y'all. So this one is live right now. And then it's just a bunch of different ones. So the one that I have, again, once I get 5 episodes, then I'll go ahead and make it live. The reason why I do that, in case anyone is asking, when you make a new YouTube channel, if someone likes it, most likely they're going to go to your profile to see what other stuff you have to watch. And if you don't have anything else for them to watch, you can actually lose that person. They may not subscribe. They may roll out forever, right? So when you have, the way I do it is when I do a new one, I put 5 videos all at once. And then the description is very high optimized. The titles are very high optimized. So it just gives a new channel more success to succeed. So, anybody could, do what they want, but that's usually the way that I do it when I have to create a new YouTube channel. So, what was my point for bringing it up? Oh, okay. So we're going to talk about the YouTube numbers really quick. So this is if you are interested in creating a YouTube channel. I know people hear about, people making money on YouTube and they may not quite understand how that works. So we're going to talk about the numbers. This is not the sexy part, y'all. This is not sexy at all, but hopefully it'll help you see what you need if you just want to make some passive income on YouTube. I don't want to say passive because passive kind of insinuates that it's not work, and it's work, right? So let's not say that. So cost per mil doesn't mean million, and it's the Latin word for thousand. So that's a struggle even in Portuguese for me, because every time I see mil, I think million, and that's so not what it means. Anyway, so this is cost per 1,000 views. So you want to kind of pull the equation out so that you know how many views you'll need to get the goal of money that you want to get from this platform over the course of a month or so, right? So if your cost per mil is $3.40, it means you earn $3.40 for every 1,000 views you get, right? So if you don't already have a YouTube channel, you may not know what your cost per mil is. You just have to start putting content out there. And then after a while, you'll start to develop some type of analytics, and you can see on your analytics what your cost per mil is, right? And so after you figure that out, you are going to decide what is your monthly goal income. You can do this based on channel or overall, whatever you want on YouTube. So if you want $1,200, the way that the equation looks, like I did $340 because that can be like a lifestyle channel. But if you are concentrating on tech, on AI stuff, or retirement money, they usually have more cost per mil, right? And so you don't have to have as many views because you get paid more money for that audience. Okay. So that kind of makes sense too. So if you want per channel to make $1,200 a month, how you break this down is, okay, so you need to figure out your revenue goal, whatever that number is, right? And then you're going to divide it by your cost per mil. Now, the bigger number, not to get anybody caught up on the math, is the revenue per mil. But we're not going to talk about that fully because that's actually what YouTube pays you. YouTube will give you about 55% of what they make, right? But I don't want to take you down there and confuse you. So just walk with me here. Okay, so you take your revenue goal. If you say, I want to make 5,000, I want to make this, I want to make that, you're going to take your revenue goal and divide it by your CPM. And again, you won't know what that CPM is until you start putting content out there. But a very conservative number is, let's say, $2, right? All right. After you have that, you are going to divide it. So your revenue goal, the 1,200 divided by 340, your cost per mil, equals the 352, Multiply that by 1,000 because that is what you need. And so it means you need 352,941 views per month. Like, so calm down, right? I know it's not like, who is doing all that? But again, all of this is about planting seeds. And if you want to do a YouTube channel, the more videos you have, the easier it is to make more money. And sometimes some of your videos may pop off and you'll get hundreds of thousands of views or, a million views on some videos. So I hope this is helping with kind of seeing the equation a bit. So when it came time to me planting the seeds, 2 of those seeds were creating 2 separate YouTube channels with 2 separate goals and motives that I have for those, right? So if you are just to do it in a real life circumstance, the more videos you have, the more it is for the goal to be attainable, but it doesn't happen overnight. And so most of the stuff I'm talking about right now, you want to start it now because it has to have time to grow. And this is the non-sexy stuff because it's way before it makes the money, right? And so, but if you never start, you can't actually make the money. So let me see, did I have anything on here that, where is it? So there was a picture that I did not put up here. Did I not put the picture up? That's the picture. Okay. So the RPM is really what you need to know because that is basically a little bit more than half of what YouTube will actually pay you. And so if your goal is $1,200, you got to make sure that you are producing enough content so that this is feasible. Okay. I hope this is making sense. Don't get caught up on just one video. You are going to make a series of videos. When I just showed you Lo-Fi Girl had about 217 videos, but she had millions in views and hundreds of thousands of views and thousands of views on other. So it's doable, but these are the little baby seeds you need to understand. Really consider your cost per mil and your revenue per mil. I hope that makes sense and didn't bore the hell out of everybody. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is LinkedIn. So again, I'm doing a whole class on this, 4 hours on Sunday on how to do this, right? Let me really quickly, what screen am I on? Hold on, y'all, because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to go to LinkedIn really quickly. So let me tell you what I did here. LinkedIn is the only platform that exists that you can do a lot of B2B connections on, right? Your CEOs, your founders, your ideal client, if you want to work with businesses, they're all on LinkedIn. But I had avoided LinkedIn the whole time I lived in the US. But outside of the US, they really use LinkedIn. Everything from contracts, if you apply for something, they want to see your LinkedIn page. And I kept seeing that, right? There wasn't a case in the US where anyone needed to see my LinkedIn page. That has been the case often as long as I've been here in Europe. And so I was like, okay, I apparently need to take that seriously. And so that's what I did. Now, LinkedIn is very much different from every other social media. It does not reward virality, right? So their goal for their algorithm is not like, okay, you're going to get 100 million views on this. LinkedIn algorithm is very much connected to authority, consistency, engagement, that type of thing. So it means you got to put your work in for it to matter, right? And so I'm going to show you some of my LinkedIn posts and then show you how I use that to get clients, right? So which one did I want to show you? Hold on. Okay. So this is from today. So this is a post that I did today. And the purpose of this post, when you post on LinkedIn, I want to do two things. And I did this a lot with clients. It's how I got the clients in the UK. I will make a post. I make my post on Sunday for the week, right? I schedule them out through the week. I know who I may want to target. So for this particular post that you see here that I did today, I wanted to target companies that need internal training and want to use AI to produce it for their employees rather than hiring a production company to do it for them. It's much more cost effective, right? But I wanted to show how it can be done with a video. So periodically, I will put these videos on my status page to show work I've done with clients so they can say, oh, you know, so when I reach out or when I pitch myself to someone on LinkedIn, I am not just saying, hey, you want to jump on a 20-minute call to a stranger. Nobody wants to go and meet with a stranger, right? So I'm giving them something they can see, and I'm also giving them information. So I'm going to open this up. Is this big enough that you can see it? Let me try to Command Plus. Did that work? Command Plus is not working. Because I ain't hit Command. Genius. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's bigger for everyone to see it, right? So this was from today, and it says, so you want to automate your AI video creation. Here's why you don't, right? So in every post that I make sure to put a hook. So the hook is going to communicate to the ideal client as to why they need to stop scrolling. And so if anyone was thinking about bringing AI video into it and they wanted to automate that process, I'm explaining to them why they don't want to do that. And in the process, I have the video that was created that shows I can do it. Does that make sense? So every one of my LinkedIn posts are like that. Why does that matter? Because when it's time for me to pitch, I already have something that they can see. So let me show you this one. So this one was for the UK, right? This was for a client that I did work for in the UK, and I love UK clients. I want more UK clients, right? So I put a case study as to what we did for this UK client, and I showed a piece of the video for the UK client. So they can see this is what the video looks like. This is some things I may want to consider. So if I go reach out to a company in the UK to do any type of videos, I already show that I've done it. It's not just saying, hey, can I jump on for a quick call? I hope that's making sense. Hope I'm not boring y'all to death. Everybody good? Who's here with me live? Okay, so that just gives you some example, but all of the posts are like this, right? So posting on LinkedIn, in this space, you want to make that every post you make is an asset for your business and that it makes sense. So I'm going to show you another one right here. So this is for attorneys. Specifically, I was going after attorneys. And so here I'm talking about how attorneys can package their information into an API and sell that to small businesses or what have you, and it brings in an extra revenue stream for attorneys. And I discuss how does that work? And this is a legal research API, and I talk about what that looks like, how they can create income, all of those things, right? And so what happens is people are going to see this anyway. But if I want to reach out to an attorney, I have something helpful to give them versus just saying, hi, I know you don't know me. Can you spend 20 minutes of your very important time talking to me? That's crazy to think that strangers want to do that with you, right? So this way, I'm giving something very informative that attorney may not have even thought about yet. They may not have thought, oh, what? I could get extra money from my expertise by converting it to an API. They may not have even thought about that. So I use LinkedIn as a pitch. But this is also what happens with LinkedIn. After a while, and it takes about 3 to 4 months, I show up in search because of the content that I wrote. I create content based on the words that I want to be optimized for. I optimize for automation, video generation, and that type of thing. So when someone on LinkedIn specifically is searching for it, I show up. It took me 4 months to show up. I started this process in January. In fact, before January 20th, before the inauguration, I was like, all right, it's January. I got to get this going, right? So I started like January 1. I was not playing no games. I hit the floor running and made sure that I had to do what I needed to do to make it happen. So that is LinkedIn. Let me see. Okay. So the second thing, and the last thing rather, and then we're going to do Q&A. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of that for you. Again, if for the LinkedIn aspect, I'm going to spend 4 hours doing the training, right? And so we're going to take breaks, but during the breaks, you're going to implement the stuff I just taught. So if you sit there or you look at the recording, you can have your whole LinkedIn glamorized and sexy within a weekend, right? So if you have a LinkedIn and you're like, damn, I really should get this together, we're going to do it. So you have no excuse because you're planting the seeds right now, right? Okay. So the last thing that I did was, and this is really where I want to focus majority of my life and time, is creating various AI tools for businesses. Because I'm getting older, right? So I don't necessarily want to do the service work that I have been doing. Again, my background was in marketing. For those of you who haven't met me before, I moved out of the country with my digital marketing company, right? And so when AI dropped to the scene about 3-4 years ago, it completely obliterated my industry. And so I didn't have any choice but to learn this because I saw it tearing my industry up. And so I was like, all right, I got to eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff until I understand. What it forced me to do in the level up and getting the skills is that now I know how to, I'm a baby coder. I wouldn't be out here saying, oh, I'm a coder. I'm a baby coder. And I can get stuff done and make things happen, and particularly in my industry, right? So I can code things to implement AI and make these tools. So one of the first tools I met, and you guys may have seen this already because I talked about it before, this is the LinkedIn post generator. This is what I want you to think about. Let's talk before we even look at this. What I want you to think about, based on your industry, are there any tools that you can create that businesses can utilize? So for me, I knew how time consuming creating LinkedIn posts were, if you wanted them to be good. If you just sharing people's stuff or putting inspirational quotes that don't nobody care about, you can do LinkedIn in a couple of seconds. But if you have to strategically think about how you're going to use it as a lead funnel and lead generation, you can't just be putting trash on there and think that it's going to work. It won't. So I knew how long it took. So what I started doing was building tools that solved my problem, right? As a business owner, what are the problems I'm having? What are the time sucks? And how can I make a tool that'll fix that? And because I knew how annoying it was, I know how to sell it to other people. So with the LinkedIn post generator, I used it for me, and it helped me grow over the past, 6 or 7 months. But I also know that a lot of CEOs and a lot of founders, they have to keep up their information on LinkedIn as well, right? So not only did I use it for myself and of course sell the tools, you can sell it to other people, but you can also sell the service, the output of whatever your tool is, and create a white glove service, right? So if CEOs and founders don't have time to deal with anything on their LinkedIn, there are a lot of people who are asking for marketers for LinkedIn. I was one of them. I did it in my marketing company, right? And so now you can just automate that process and that service, and then you can just have the person pay for it. So most CEOs and founders will have no problem paying $50-$60 a month for someone to take care of their LinkedIn posts, especially if it's going to be trained on their data, their information, and it's going to get them leads. They have no problem paying that. So even if you don't want to sell the tool, you can just sell the service and sell it that way as well. So think about what you already know in your industry, and can you develop a tool that will be beneficial to businesses, not to consumers? No disrespect to the small business, to the very, very small business or solo entrepreneurs. You need volume when you're doing B2C, business to consumer. For B2B, you don't need that many clients. You really only need 3 and you can live a very comfortable life. So you want to make sure you're building a tool that can really solve the issue. And, okay, yeah, sorry, I had to make sure. Okay, so that is what I wanted to say about that. And I want you to think about it. So this is just the AI tool that I did for LinkedIn posts. I have another one for YouTube, which is what I use to create all the YouTube channels and stuff I was doing. And so there's that. Now, I also want to talk to you about the freelance sites. Now, there are freelance sites in every country, right? In the US, they typically use 2, which is like Upwork, and there's another one I can't remember. I can't remember. But in the US, the UK has its own sites for freelancing, and Luxembourg has its own sites for freelancing. France has their own sites for freelancing. And some of these freelancing sites will let you work wherever in the world you want to work, right? So for me, I know it's important I feel like it's important for me to diversify the income and the currency, right? So one of the reasons why I like working with UK clients is because their currency is so strong. I did not expect that after Brexit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought their currency was gonna take a hit after Brexit for some reason. Anyway, so their currency is strong. So I like having UK clients. One, they're also like really nice, right? So the British pound is part of it. European clients, they're paying euros, of course. And I still have, clients from the US. But the US dollar is dropping, and I have no idea how far it's going to go. And in history, it dropped as low as $1.63 equaled €1. So if that happens again, and I'm completely dependent on USD and I live in Europe, that can be very problematic, right? And so I know that. And so that's why I had to start implementing some of this stuff, including a European YouTube channel, 7-8 months ago, whenever the hell I started this, right? So I hope this is making sense. So this is what this is. So for freelance sites, here's another YouTube page, right? This YouTube account is solely to be a portfolio for anyone that I have to show the video generation. So a lot of the videos are unlisted, so you can't see them. These are the videos that are actually public. But so the purpose of this is to drive traffic to the various freelance sites. This is also a seed that I haven't put too much effort into yet. I will, I just haven't, right? So the purpose of this is that people can see, and you can see I don't have that many followers. I think it's only like 400 and something. But if people like it from YouTube, they can go to Upwork as one of the freelancer sites I'm going to use on the US, and then the other sites for Europe. The reason why this is important, because most of the freelance sites that exist in America, not necessarily the case outside of the US, are very oversaturated. So to use it as a lead can be tough if you are just starting out, right? Because if you have no reviews, no one has ever seen you, it's going to be really hard to get leads. YouTube is one of the things, it's very easy to get leads if you search engine optimize correctly, if you use keywords correctly. So the way that I title videos in the portfolio page, is much different than how I would post a video that I'm trying to get views on for YouTube. I write it so that I show up on search for Google, because a business that's interested in getting AI video generations, they're going to search on Google. And so I optimize that page for Google search. So if I'm showing up in Google search, they like what they see, they go to one of the freelancing sites and they pay there. Now, some may say, well, why not just send them directly to you, right? One, because some people on the internet are crazy. Two, I want the portfolios on various freelance locations to grow first. Once they grow, I will stop making the call to action these third-party sites and make it go directly to me. Why am I doing that? Because these third-party sites or freelancing sites are helpful because they already have people on it who are looking for a service. And if I provide that service, it's almost equivalent to me running ads, except I'm not running ads. I'm just on a platform that already has the buyers there. But it's not helpful if you don't already have history. So I'm using YouTube to attract them, to send them to the thing. Did I just confuse the hell out of everybody? Okay. So if you have any questions, I'm going to start talking about it. I knew I threw a lot to y'all right now. But let's take some questions if people have them. If you don't have any questions, I invite you to, what's the page for the questions? There we go. If you don't have any questions, I invite you to come see me on Sunday, because we're gonna work. I hope you guys took notes. Let's see. Do you have any questions, comments? Let me see. Okay, who we got? Blissful Resonance. Hey, Fiverr. Yeah, so Fiverr, you can do Fiverr as well. Fiverr, that's what it was. Couldn't think of it. Now, I had a bad experience on Fiverr because they had randomly kicked me off, and I don't even know why. That does not mean you don't have to be on Fiverr if Fiverr's your thing. I will say to make sure that you have kind of scenes somewhere else just in case stuff gets crazy. But YouTube is a great place to get the leads, and then you can send them to whatever platform you want to. So here's the thing about YouTube. It's evergreen, right? So once you get leads and people want it and you send them to, let's say, Fiverr or what's that? Dang, I forgot that quick. Upwork. When you want them to stop going there and go directly to you, you just change the link in the description of the video. So what I'm saying is you're planting seeds everywhere, right? You're going to plant them over here. You're going to plant them over there. You're going to plant them directly to you. And so that is kind of how all of this comes together. Is this helpful at all? Because this isn't like a webinar when people can talk back to me. So let me know in the comments, is this helpful at all? So yeah, that's it. If you don't have any questions, how long we've been together? Is this okay? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to wrap it up if nobody has any questions. Going once. I appreciate y'all coming to be with me today. Going twice. I hope I didn't just confuse the hell out of you. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to hop off. Again, want to remind you that we're going to be here live this Sunday, September 7th at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be here for 4 hours. We are going to take breaks. During the break, you are going to implement the stuff I just taught, right? And so if you already have LinkedIn, come with your LinkedIn links so that in the chat, people can network and you can follow each other. Oh, wait, let me put my LinkedIn thing here. How do I find that? So if anyone wants to follow me on LinkedIn or they need some ideas of posts and what those should look like, just go ahead, check out my LinkedIn and you can see that. So gather all that together. Come see me on Sunday. Oh, thank y'all. I'm so glad it's helpful. Come see me on Sunday. Be ready to work. Bring your pen and paper because we're gonna get it in. Also, for Sunday, if you have a Chat GTP account, you're going to kind of need it during the break. You don't have to have the paid one. You can do it free. I'm going to give you some prompts so that you can go ahead and during the break, you can start editing your LinkedIn, changing your heading, all that other stuff based off the prompts that you get and stuff like that. So is that it? Do you need Canva? Just log into your Canva account if you have it. I don't know if we'll have time for graphics, but we just have it. Again, free account is all you need. You don't need to pay for it. Okay, y'all. Yay. I'm so glad it was helpful. So again, if you got time, come see me on Sunday. And until next time, thanks for joining me.